Hello, it's Wendy here from InsideTheWendyHouse.blogspot.co.uk. Did you know that in the UK we waste 4.2 million tonnes of good food every year? This equates to £700 per family per year of food that is being wasted that is perfectly good to eat. The Love Food Hate Waste campaign is raising awareness to help us reduce our food waste. In return, this will save us money and it's also good for the environment. The first thing you can do, which will really help you to reduce your food waste, is to do meal planning. I have a little one here that sticks to the fridge, little meal planner, and I can work out what foods to do for the family for the week, and there's a corresponding shopping list. It's very easy to do. Just think about what you're going to need for that menu, and if you're buying something for meal 1, you can incorporate the same ingredients into meal 2 quite easily. That way you're not going to end up going to the supermarket, buying this and that and this and that, coming home not having enough things to throw together to make a meal, and by the end of the week there'll be loads of things lurking in the back of your fridge that you just haven't touched. So it's just about being organised. I usually, for my meal plans, do a stew on a Monday. I do it in a slow cooker. That's really economical because it doesn't use very much power at all to cook a family meal. And I can cook an excess more than what we need. Then I can get some little plastic tubs, which I buy from the supermarket, 10 for 99p, cheap as chips. And I can portion up some extra portions of my stew and pop them in the freezer, and then I've just made some healthy, homemade, ready meals that my husband can take to work. It's much nicer than just having a sandwich, and it saves a lot of money across the course of a week. Something else that I do, I buy big bags of spinach and kale because I have green smoothies. Now, in the fridge they'll last a few days, and by the end of the week it's a bit slimy, it's a bit grim. You wouldn't really want to be putting it in your smoothies. However, if after you buy it you package them up into portion-sized bagfuls and pop them in the freezer, they're absolutely perfect. Throw in your smoothies, make your smoothies nice and cold, and it means from 1.99 pence bag I can get about 15 of these, which will last me for a couple of weeks. So I'm not wasting anything, it's all being used up. It's the same for fruit. If I buy something like a melon or a pineapple, we chop it all up. Anything that's left, I again package up into little portion-sized bags for the freezer to throw in my smoothies. It just means that nothing gets wasted. All foods come with the little date stamps on it for your information, but they can be so confusing. You get best before dates, use by dates, sell by dates, and if you're not sure what they mean, you can very easily throw away something that was perfectly safe to eat. Use by dates are the only ones that you should really stick to, because they are generally found on perishable items, and past that they may be harmful to eat. You can get over that by popping them in the freezer on the day of purchase, and then that'll extend the life a little bit longer. However, best before dates, they are just a recommendation that tells you the optimum time during which the food will be at its peak condition. After that, you have to use your judgment. If it smells okay, if it looks okay, then it probably is okay. So a best before date is just a guideline to when it is at its best. After that, it might not be 100% as good as it was, but it's still perfectly edible. The other date is sell before date, and that is just for supermarket stock control, so don't worry about that one. But just use your common sense. Mostly you can tell if something's spoiled. I store most of my fruit and vegetables in the fridge. Apart from things like bananas, avocados and potatoes, by putting your vegetables in the fridge, it just makes them last a lot longer, and hopefully they'll still be going strong by the end of the week. Portion control is another really important thing when it comes to making sure that you don't waste your food. If you're doing something like rice or pasta, read on the side of the packet, it'll tell you how much you need. It's very easy just to get a big bag of rice and just cook it all thinking, oh, that'll do my family, and then you end up with enough to feed an army. it's very easy to say, oh, this is too much, and throw it in the bin. But even if you do make that mistake and you cook too much, there are things you can do. Again, you can bag it up and pop it in the freezer. Pasta is really good frozen, and then if somebody wants a snack, just take it out, microwave it, and you have a little quick meal right there. Rice, you have to be a little bit careful with rice because it is one of the ones that you can get food poisoning from, but if you cool it immediately and then put it in your fridge, it will be safe to use the next day. Rice makes a great additive to a pie. I do a mushroom and cream cheese pie, which is bulked out with rice. That's brilliant. So I often have a roll of ready rolled puff pastry in the freezer, so if I do have any leftovers that would make a good pie filling, I can just defrost my pastry and there's a pie, next day's dinner, done. Other tips for using up food waste: if you've got some bread that's going a bit dry or you don't use the crusts, then pop it in the food processor, blitz it up, make breadcrumbs. You can then bag them up and put them in the freezer and they're good to use another day. If you have any wine left over, I know that would be rare, but if you did, a little bit of red wine, put them in ice cube trays, freeze them. They're perfect for throwing into stews and casseroles to add some nice rich flavour. Also, if you've got fresh herbs, again, chop them up, mix them with a little oil and freeze them in the freezer. And then you've got lovely fresh herbs that you can use without any preparation, just throw them in. When your bananas go brown and bashed, don't throw them away. Make a date and banana loaf. It's delicious, and you can also, again, freeze it up, cut it into slices, bag it and freeze it, or freeze it as a whole loaf, and then you've got something lovely to pop in the lunch boxes. There really is so much you can do with a little bit of thought. Food waste is tomorrow's ingredients. If by the end of the week you do have lots of stuff left over, it's very easy to make a good soup. It works particularly well with old vegetables and whatnot. You can make up a soup, and then that's a lunchtime meal in itself that, you know, basically costs you nothing because it's all the leftovers that you've got left in your fridge. So to round that all up, there are 5 things you can do to really reduce your food waste and make your shopping budget go a lot further. Planning. Meal planning, shopping list. Just make sure you're all organised for the week ahead. It's so much easier to do. Storage. Thinking about things like portioning things up, popping them in the freezer, or putting your vegetables in the fridge, just keeping things so they'll stay at their best for longer. Portion control. Just remember, read the side of your rice and your pasta packets. Don't do too much food and then end up throwing it away. If you do too much, leftovers. There's lots of things you can do. Package it up to make your own homemade ready meals, or store the raw ingredients in the freezer or the fridge ready to use the next day as part of another meal. And last of all, know your dates. Don't be a diva to the dates. Remember, use by dates are important, but sell by dates and best before dates, they have leeway. So just use your senses, smell, sight. If it looks okay, if it smells okay, it probably is okay. So just be sensible, and you can make your food shopping go a heck of a lot further. And according to the statistics, you could be saving up to £700 a year, and that is fantastic. So good luck. Remember, love food, hate waste.